Welcome, everybody, to the Near Patients podcast, and this podcast is brought to you by East Studio 54 in Springdale High School. Jake McCool, Noah Wilson, welcome to the podcast. So, March Madness is finally here.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. Say it again, Noah.
I'm so happy. There we are.
Yeah, there we are.
You can hear me now.
That's good. Probably should have done my check before this, but hey, we're here. So,
yeah, it's that time of year again.
yeah, it's gonna be another season that Gonzaga just kills everybody and gets the national title.
They've actually never won a national championship.
Really, they just always get to like the Final Four. They're kind of like UConn in that aspect.
UConn's won a couple of times. I mean,
They
they
won
won
a
with
few,
Kimba.
Yeah,
right. Was that
Shabazz
20?
Napier?
Yeah.
Lamb.
What
They
seed
won.
were they that year?
They were like a 2 or 3, I think.
They were like a 3. Oh, that's
That's
pretty respectable.
Going into the tournament, they won their conference tournament. So
because he had that step back versus Pittsburgh in the semifinal that all of us have seen on the internet somehow. But
yeah. Do you think we'll have another Loyola Chicago or what is it, Florida Gulf Coast?
well, Florida Gulf Coast, they were a 15 and they made it to the Sweet 16. I don't think a 15's ever done that.
Dang.
And they did it in particular fashion where it was the Dunk City thing. I hadn't thought about that, but we had a teacher in the 900s hallway, and they're all about sports over there. He was talking about it. I totally had forgotten about that. They just ravaged Georgetown, and then maybe San Diego State or something, but they made it the Sweet 16 as a 15, which is just unheard of.
Yeah, with San Diego State last year, I really thought they had the opportunity to go like a long way, but obviously COVID.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to go.
That's
far in
right.
advance.
Did they even lose a game in the
They did
regular
not
season?
lose a single game, and I don't think they even won any of like their conference championship games.
I think
or they got to,
everybody's.
like the first round. I forgot.
I think everybody's really happy that March Madness is back. I think we needed it, and we missed out on it last year. I was like, bruh.
Yeah. I mean, I think it definitely provides a lot of excitement in the U.S.
Yeah, no.
Sports fans.
We literally do
Regardless
nothing
if
for an
you like it
entire
or not.
weekend but just watch basketball on like
Fill out brackets.
True TV gets viewers for one weekend a year.
Yeah, it's kind of the joke that if you go to like Google Trends and you look for, what channel is True TV, you see spikes like flatline, spike, flatline,
And then maybe
spike.
like in the fall when Impractical Jokers
and they'll get
premieres or
kind of like-
something.
and it'll go up a
Yeah.
little bit, but poor True TV.
Do we just want to hop into it?
Yeah,
Should
sure.
we I don't know. We might have people that aren't really familiar with the tournament, so we'll make this quick in case you are. You mind if I explain that?
Either you or Jake.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It is 68 teams from college basketball. They all play. There will be 4 games on Thursday. So if you win those, you actually get to be in the bigger field. And it's split up into 4 regions. And just there's 16 teams in each region. You have to work your way out of that region to get to the Final Four. That's like the big deal. Getting to the Final Four, all of America is watching. So, but if you're a really, really good team, you're seeded high, so like a 1. You get to play a 16, who is like the lowest seed.
Yeah, you have an easier path to get there.
Yeah. But by the end of it, you have to play all the good teams in your region and stuff. But they call it March Madness because teams that aren't seeded very high have a tendency to beat teams that are seeded high all the time. There's these crazy upsets, and it's really enjoyable because of that.
Yeah, and the way that it's structured, it's if you had a 2 seed in theory has the second easiest path to get to the Final Four for that region. But if the 15 seed that beats the 2 seed, now that 15 seed has the second easiest path because they already went against the hardest
and that's what makes
opponent that they had.
And that's what makes it interesting. Sometimes you get higher seeds that end up making it. I think the furthest a team has ever gotten, well, I don't think a 12's ever gotten to the national championship, but there have been a few 11s.
There's been a few 11s.
A few 11s have gotten to the Final Four, so they've made it out of their region of 16 teams. So 2 years ago, Loyola Chicago, which was just this awesome story. They were an 11 seed, and they made it to the Final Four, and they actually almost made it to the national championship. They just lost by a few points against Michigan in the Final Four. But the thing that made that team so much fun is they had this nun I believe Loyola Chicago is a Catholic school, and there's a nun. She's just the biggest fan. I think she was like 92 at the time. She's still living, which people didn't know if she'd die or not, which was what made it such a big deal that they do well. But she's still around, and that's really cool. So they made it really far as a low seed, and that was exciting.
Yeah.
So we're just hoping that we get a storyline like that this year.
So is there any big upsets from either of you that you're predicting so far this season?
Do we want to go round by round?
Yeah, do we want to go round by round?
That might be good to work. Yeah, so the game this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
that's okay.
keep going, yeah.
Sorry, there's somebody in the background. So this weekend, Friday and Saturday, it'll be the first round. So ones will be playing 16s, 2 15s, all the way down to 8 and 9s playing each other. So this is the weekend that they're typically a bunch of upsets. So we're going to start there and see if we think any big high seeds are going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
So does anybody have like a 1 or a 2 going out the first weekend?
No, I don't.
I don't have one, I don't think.
Wait 1 second. I'm going to look at
yours,
yours.
so I'm not exactly sure.
The 1 seeds are in the South region.
I have
Baylor.
Georgetown upsetting Colorado.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest one that I have.
So Georgetown's a
because it
12.
Yeah. If you look at the most recent AP poll, the final AP poll of the season, there was one person who voted for Georgetown being the top 25. Then people were like, well, they got on the hype train. They're really not that good. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they played great basketball throughout the year, but
No.
They were
I
really
mean,
good.
Patrick Ewing's the coach. Anything's up for grabs.
I don't know. I'm kind of rooting for them. They're not in the Razorbacks division. We should put that one out there real fast. We are all massive Razorback fans because we've grown up here
in Arkansas.
in Arkansas.
So, yeah.
So there might be a little bias, but we're trying to keep our expectations realistic.
Yeah, we're Hogs fans. We've been
a lot of
we've had
Razorback
our
fans
heart
aren't
broken.
like that.
We've had our heart broken a lot in the past. So.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some really groovy music in
So
there.
Noah, since you have your bracket out, do you want to start?
Okay,
Since you
so
are the one that keeps wanting to lead into it, but not lead into it.
Okay. So the biggest upset I have this weekend is UNC Greensboro beating Florida State. Florida State was just a little iffy in the ACC tournament.
They were a 4 seed, right?
Yeah, it's a 4 and 13. So that's the highest. That is the lowest seed I have making it out of the round of 64, but I think they'll end up losing in the round of 32.
Yeah, I think in one of my tournaments I have Virginia going out against Ohio, I think it is.
Yeah.
Another 4 and 13. Oh no,
Well-
they've been really good.
And Virginia's just been
Virginia,
okay this season. Like they've been maintaining in the top 25, but if they would have started out in the top, not in the top 25, and with their performance, even with their wins and losses, they would end up being, I would think, more towards like the 20s or them, right on the edge of actually being the top 25 on the AP poll. Because KenPom, they're not that high. Like Arkansas, I don't think he was even that high in the KenPom, but it's an interesting thing to go off of.
Yeah. Well, because every year that this happens, there are a few games. There are a few games where people think that the lower seed's going to win. It's like a popular upset. Yeah. A lot of people go for it. So this year, I think the biggest one is a lot of people have Winthrop beating Villanova. So that's a 12 beating a 5. The other one, Georgetown, they just won the Big East tournament. Nobody saw that coming. So a lot of people have them beating the 5 seed that they're playing.
Oh, I wish.
But
yeah.
What's the best way of doing this? Do we want to do region by region?
Yeah, we can go region by region. I don't have my thing in front of me, but I've memorized it, which is kind of depressing. So I might refer off of yours to make sure I'm right. Because both of ours are pretty similar. I just have a few different upsets.
Okay.
Wait, so you have UNC going to the Elite Eight?
Okay, yeah. So let's start with the South region.
Tell me, please.
That's the one where the Razorbacks are in. Yeah. So I was filling this out, and I really don't want to just have ones making it to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the teams. I was like, which one could lose? So a 1 in the round of 32 playing like an 8 or a 9 or whatever. I really think UNC's the one that could beat Baylor. UNC's kind of had an iffy season. A bunch of ACC teams have had that. Duke didn't even make it into the tournament, but I think UNC's got the best shot. And I haven't watched enough UNC games to really know if they're just an astounding team. But their coach is Roy Williams, and that gives them a shot. You know, they have the best coaching in the tournament right now, at least the most tenure. That guy has won a bunch of tournaments. So
who's the former coach of Louisville? I always forget.
Oh, Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino. He would be like the best coach because Mike Krzyzewski is not in there either. Coach K.
Yeah, when we get to the East region, we can talk about that. Rick Pitino. He used to.
Kentucky's not even in a tournament this year.
Yeah, Duke and Kentucky.
This is such a weird year to be.
I think everybody's like going through that right now, where they're filling out their brackets. They're like, wait, where's Kentucky? Where is Duke?
Yeah. So, are you done with your South region, Noah?
Yeah. Well,
who do you have going to the Elite Eight and then the Final Four?
So I've got UNC and Ohio State in the South, and I've got Ohio State. I think UNC will make an Elite Eight run, but I don't think somebody will beat them. I don't think they make a Final Four. I got Ohio State coming out of the South.
So what makes you think that Ohio State is actually capable of that run? Do you think it's because of their pretty good performance against Illinois and
they did have a good
tournament?
Well, it was
it
was an okay performance. They were down by like what were they down by 20 or something?
They were down by like 18 in the first half.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Come back.
They were really getting trashed, but they came back, and I respect that. In a conference championship, it was tied with 30 seconds left or whatever.
Overtime.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It did go to overtime. So team obviously can work with adversity. Playing against Illinois, that's the hottest team in the country. The reason I have Ohio State is because as a Razorback fan, I'm not ready to accept that we can get to the Final Four. I'm just so happy we're here. I want to make it to the Sweet 16. I've got the Razorbacks and Ohio State in the Sweet 16, but just as a Razorback fan, I haven't seen enough to know that we can get past the Sweet 16. I'd be happy to be there. So that's why I've got Ohio State. I just think they've got more experience in the tournament than we do, and
that's true.
I'll take them there. If the Hogs win, awesome. That's what I'd like to see, but I think Ohio State will get out of it.
Jake, how about you?
The South region. Right?
Yeah,
South region.
Okay, so I pretty much have Baylor advancing. I have Winthrop advancing. That's not even the first round. Okay, so I have Baylor advancing. I have Wisconsin advancing. Winthrop, Purdue, Texas Tech, Arkansas, and I actually have Virginia Tech knocking off Florida.
Okay.
And then I have Ohio State advancing. And then after that, pretty common picks, I feel like. Baylor advances, and I actually have Winthrop, another upset against Purdue.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
There you go.
And then I have Texas Tech getting beat by Arkansas. That is kind of a homer pick. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of teams are going to struggle with how we play just because we play really fast, and that's really hard to mimic.
I mean, once you get down, if you get down to the Hogs, it's really hard to work your way back into it. But also, it's an advantage for the Hogs. You know, if we get down, we've worked our way back into games all year.
Exactly. Yeah. And then in terms of Sweet 16, I have Baylor and Winthrop, Arkansas and Ohio State. Then I have Baylor and Arkansas advancing, and once again it is.
So that's the Elite Eight, Baylor, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Okay.
And once again, that is a homer pick, but
it could happen.
It could happen. And one thing I kind of like to do with my brackets, like if there's a pick that doesn't make sense, I actually like to keep it. Unless it just doesn't make total sense, like Gonzaga losing first round.
Yeah, you like a wild card pick.
Yeah, because, if you look at it, every NCAA tournament, there's never it's never the higher seed wins. There's always some crazy game. So just because it doesn't sound right, just because the team hasn't been having success.
There's a reason why I think there's only been a few instances of people having a perfect first round and they're being an almost perfect second round. I don't even think there's been a perfect.
I'm pretty sure by the end of
Sweet 16,
after the first round of games, so that's the round of 64.
There might have been
there might be
perfect
five.
winners, but
there might be 5 brackets remaining. There 5%.
Yeah.
I think 95% of brackets get knocked out in the first 2 days.
Let's be honest. Probably with the first 4, well, the way that it works is that you just pick the winner from that. But if they ended up you have to pick the first 4 actual winners, and then predicting after that, there'd be no one. At all.
Because that's the reason they don't do it.
It's not that we don't care about the first 4. It's just we don't care about the first 4. We all kind of recognize that it's a cash grab, and we. They trademark it. Literally, it says first 4 TM. Actually, no, it's R, so it's registered. But
copyright.
It's the same. It's the same thing. It's come on, guys.
And the funny thing about it this year is you actually have Michigan State and UCLA, 2 blue bloods that are playing the first 4. And I actually, in one of my tournaments, have Michigan State, or predicting them, to make a little run just because Tom Izzo's experience.
That's what I have. In mine, I think Michigan State is Sweet 16 bound. And the reason why I say, we'll get to that later, actually. Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But
I'll leave mine real quick. So with mine's pretty similar. Actually, it's not similar whatsoever to Noah. But effectively is that my only upsets is Winthrop over Villanova. Wow, it's amazing how many people doubt Villanova. Like that's kind of like
because Georgetown beat them, right?
But Georgetown beat them. Yeah, exactly.
They did lose Colin Gillespie and another guard, two of their best players.
That's true.
I mean,
that's a popular upset, but
it is
kind
of one of those things where it's like you almost want to go against the popular load, because a lot of times these teams will come out, they'll beat who they're supposed to beat.
Let me think. So yeah, the only thing I have is so I have Winthrop over Villanova. That's pretty popular. I think Baylor's going to be able to beat out UNC in the round of third. That would be the Sweet 16. And then I have Ohio State beating out Arkansas in the Sweet 16. And then Ohio State and Baylor. I don't know. Baylor's done really well the beginning of the season, but as later in the season, not as much. And with that upset of OSU over them and the whatever you call it, the Big 12 championship. Yeah. Although OSU has been really impressive, and that's going to end up being one of my big things in the Midwest, I don't think Baylor has the strength to get over Ohio State, because Ohio State's had to go against Michigan, Purdue, Wisconsin.
They are battle-tested for sure.
They are battle-tested. The Big Ten's the best conference, I would say, this year overall.
Yeah. Well, they had the most high seeds. Big 12 is good.
Yeah.
Because the ACC isn't as good, but Big 10 is just, I mean, they have 2 1 seeds, and then they have a couple other 2s and 3s. Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous.
I think at one point they had maybe 3, because you have Michigan, Illinois, and Ohio State. Ohio State actually dropped because they lost a couple games.
That's right.
The season.
They were all vying for the 1s, so only 2 of them got it.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think.
So that's the South. Who do we have getting to the Final Four? I got Ohio State.
Ohio State for me.
Hold on just a second. I mean,
I think you had Baylor, right?
I have 2 different brackets, but yeah.
Okay.
I have Baylor, Michigan, Kansas, and West Virginia. So 2-1 versus 3.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. And you had Baylor make it to the Final Four from the South, right?
Yes. So for the Midwest, I'll just start off real quick since mine's pretty simple. Other than the fact that OSU got robbed in their seeding, what are they? 5?
4.
4. OSU is 4. They deserve a 2. They do. They're better than Houston. That's what I think. Houston's not bad, but
Houston hasn't played as good of a schedule. I don't get their schedule was not great.
I'm not on the Houston hype train.
I mean, they went against Cincinnati in the Conference USA, right? Is that what they are? Yeah. Conference USA championship.
They destroyed Cincinnati.
Yeah, they destroyed Cincinnati.
But Cincinnati's also not in the tournament.
Exactly.
So they weren't really on that caliber.
There was really no Conference USA team that even managed to get to that, except to the entire.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't see Houston going too far. I see them maybe being Sweet 16, but I think West Virginia is going to beat them out in the mid. Right? Am I right on that? Let me check your bracket.
In defense of Houston, they might have, if they make it out of the first weekend, they really might get to the Elite Eight.
Really?
They don't have a very hard.
You have
path.
Syracuse beating West Virginia. They've done well, but I don't think they're getting.
This is my dark horse. Did I have Syracuse in the whole thing?
You did. Well, but that's besides the point. I'll let you speak on that.
Oh yeah, I got you.
So West Virginia. So I see West Virginia beating Houston to get to the Elite Eight, and I see OSU beating Illinois to get to the Elite Eight, and then I see OSU going to the Final Four.
Yeah.
I think OSU is that good. I'm on the hype train for OSU.
Yeah, no, when they put them at 4 and then the rest of the country, like half of the brackets probably have them getting out of there. I mean, a lot of people like OSU.
That's how it is.
A lot of people like OSU, a 4 seed over Illinois, a 1 seed. That tells you how bad they were seeded.
I personally am not on the OSU hype train. I know that they did beat Arkansas. But
I like 2 points.
I kind of look at them the same way as I maybe look at LSU a little bit, except LSU plays better defense. LSU plays no defense. I think if Cade Cunningham, if he does not have a good game, which I could be wrong because you look at their second game against OU, like the first game he had like 37, I think, and OU. The second game, he only had 5. They still won. But I don't know. I just think he's one bad shooting game away from them getting knocked out. Yeah. Because they really don't have a whole lot of other pieces other than him.
Yeah. Sorry. I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. if OSU wants to do good, Cunningham he's got to ball out. I don't know if that team can do it without him. Especially as you get into the Elite Eight, the Sweet 16, when those teams are really, really good.
It's not like a Gonzaga where everybody on the court at one time is fantastic. Yeah. I don't know their names.
They've got two guys that are going to go top 10 and then be
exactly. But like the rest, they would still if they like all declared all happened to declare, they would probably be drafted.
Yeah, maybe,
if I'm not mistaken, maybe not. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. So
there's a reason that they're the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's not get this mistaken. They're the best team in the field.
But what makes them? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Just what makes them vulnerable is, if you look at history, like it's just gonna be hard for them to win. No team since I don't know, since 1985. I'm trying to think of the word to use here. What is it? The expansion. Okay.
Yeah, the expansion of it. Yeah, from 32 to 64.
No team has went undefeated past January 21st, and it's just so hard.
Yeah.
To go undefeated the whole season, because I mean they did play good teams throughout the year, but once you get into the tournament, it's not like you're playing Jimmy Schmoes. Like you're playing a team that's fighting for their seniors for literally every game. They're fighting. It doesn't matter if they're 13 seed, 16 seed. I mean, you saw a couple years ago Virginia got knocked off by UMBC.
Yeah, that was an excellent game because we all knew by like the beginning of the second half that, well, maybe not that, maybe 10 minutes left in the second half that
UMBC was Virginia up by 20 with 10 minutes left, and the whole country went like,
what?
Yeah.
Because that was the first time a 16 ever beat a 1 seed, right?
Yeah.
And what made that so interesting was because Gonzaga, they're the one that everyone likes. Gonzaga is the 1 seed everyone likes this year. They're the number 1 overall seed.
And Virginia was that 1 seed.
Virginia was that team. No one thought Virginia wasn't getting to the Final Four at least. And when they got knocked out in the first round, it was crazy.
I think it was like 99% of brackets, or like one of the ridiculous numbers of brackets got knocked off then.
Oh,
in that one game, yeah.
If that happened this year, without a doubt.
With Gonzaga?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised that about 40 to 60% of the brackets have Gonzaga as the national championship.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
That's probably the first time since probably Virginia that there has been that many brackets towards that. But it's only that was 2 years ago, right? Or was that 3? I always forget my dates. But I don't remember there being as strong of a 1 seed before the COVID March sadness.
Yeah. Did you coin that? Is that yours?
I don't know. I just randomly said I was going to say madness. And I was like, that doesn't make sense.
No, it was sadness.
I just said sadness. Because I'm like, I'm not wrong, but.
Okay, so let's finish up with the Midwest.
Yeah.
I've got Illinois getting out of it. I have Illinois and Syracuse in the Midwest. Syracuse, they're the lowest seed. I have going the furthest. They've got Jim Boeheim. That man can do anything. So if any team's got coaching, and we'll get to Tom Izzo and Michigan State, but in that region, they've got the best coaching. So I think they've got a shot. I just think Illinois is the better team.
And coaching is when it's really important. Then the tournament, that's when coaching, drawing up the right play for, the 2-pointer to
keeping a level head because you've got the experience there.
Exactly.
Jim Boeheim's got that.
Yeah.
So real quick, the reason I got Illinois, I was watching the Big Ten championship on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And one stat really, really caught my eye. They were showing who'd been scoring and stuff. Illinois has been on fire for the last 2 months, and when they put those points up, they did not have a single guy over 15 or 16 points. Everyone on their team was under 16 points, and yet they were still beating the crap out of Ohio State. That tells me that team can play together, and you want that deep into the tournament. Star power is great. That might get you to the Final Four, but if you have a good group of 5 guys, and I really think that's what Illinois' got, and they're hot right now. That really is really good going into the tournament. I really think they can get to the Final Four just because of that. They play so well together as a team.
Yeah. Wait, did we? Jake, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting. Did we already talk about the Midwest for you, or do you still have your prediction? Oh, wait, yeah, you're trying to pull it up on your phone. That's what it was.
I have it right here. Actually, some of my, maybe unpopular picks, I have Georgia Tech beating Loyola, just because I feel like Georgia Tech is a slept-on team.
They are, yeah.
Loyola has a great defense, but Georgia Tech also actually has one of the better defenses in the country. Their schemes are a little unpopular. It's not seen very often. I think that's kind of a sleeper. Everybody's going to automatically pick Loyola, I think. And so I think that's kind of one of the teams that could make it out. And I have Liberty beating Oklahoma State in the first round.
Ooh, really?
Just because Liberty, they're a pretty decent team, and I actually have them beating Tennessee in the next round because Tennessee has been inconsistent.
They have
Pawns, and that's about it.
They were definitely Bama over the weekend, so that made them look good. But they've been really consistent.
The thing with Tennessee is that they were definitely a top 10, some may even argue a top 5 team for about 3 weeks in the beginning of the season. But ever since then, there's a reason why they're not in the top 25. And I'm not even sure if they got voted, or if it was like 5 votes.
And then I have Rutgers, I think, making it to the Sweet 16, because I think they're another slept-on team in the Big
Scarlet
Ten.
Knights.
Just because the Big Ten, obviously, you got so many star powers. You got Michigan.
That's
Purdue.
ACC.
Oh, wait.
Clemson.
Wait, Michigan?
Oh, you're talking about Michigan?
Yeah, he said Michigan. Not
oh,
Clemson.
sorry. I thought you were talking about Clemson.
No.
Gotcha.
Okay, Michigan, Purdue. Why am I blanking?
That's fine.
Illinois. Oh my God.
They're stacked.
Yeah. Literally, yeah.
They're stacked.
And I think Rutgers is a slept-on team for sure.
Yes.
And I don't know. I think they're better than everybody thinks. And I think Houston is the most susceptible 2 seed to get knocked out. Forget Alabama and Iona. Houston, I think they have a weak resume, and they lost to Wichita State.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I do not think they're that good. They actually do have one of Arkansas's former players, Reggie Chaney.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. But no, I agree with you there. I think Houston, they do not have a resume that supports the only reason they're 2 is because they have lost so little. And I don't like that going into the tournament. I would rather take, because, Rutgers.
Someone who has impressive wins. And that's the thing with Michigan State. They have impressive wins.
Oh, my God.
I think they have beaten more people in the top 5, or is it the top 10? They've beaten more teams in the pop.
They've beaten 3 4 seeds. The 3 1 seeds. They've beaten Illinois, they've beaten Baylor, and they've beaten Michigan. I'm not even kidding. They're an 11 seed, and they've beaten 3 of the 1 seeds.
Because if you look at their record and you look at some of their losses against admittedly pretty weak teams, that's the only reason why there was actually even a question of them being in the tournament. But I think where they are to actually have to play in, maybe it sounds kind of archaic, but there's been some games that they should have won. There's been some games that they should have just outright won with their wins against Illinois, Michigan, and crap, what's the other one? I'm a dummy. What's the other one?
Baylor.
Yeah, that's right. They played.
When they play well, they play better.
They play fantastic. And that goes with the coaching. I think that's what that is.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. We finished South and Midwest. Jake, I want to hear your East prediction.
East. Okay. In terms of getting a deep run, I have UConn. I think they remind me a lot of that. I think maybe it was
2011.
Yeah, it was.
With Kimba.
Shabazz Napier, Jeremy Lamb. James Bouknight, he is a walking bucket. Dude is crazy.
Yes.
He makes them a completely different team. I would say he's almost the equivalent to Justin Smith on Arkansas. Without Justin Smith, we're nowhere.
Yeah.
He literally turned them around as the reason they're in the NCAA tournament. I think they make a run. He's East, right? Okay. And one of my brackets, I do have St. Bonaventure beating LSU, but in this one, I have them advancing. Once again, I think MSU makes it out of the first round. I have UConn beating Alabama in the second round. Then I have Texas beating UConn in the Sweet 16. I'm not a huge fan of that pick. I'm not really hot on Texas either. I know they just won the Big 12 tournament, but they have been inconsistent a little bit throughout the year, and that's kind of one of the things I look at teams that are inconsistent. And I don't know, they're not too hot on me, but you never know. I do have them getting to the Elite Eight with Michigan.
With UConn, and I think that's a really, really interesting pick. If they really beat Bama, I think most people have UConn getting out of against their game with Maryland. But UConn, Bama, if Bama comes out and does not play well and UConn goes on to the Sweet 16 probably against Texas, if they beat Alabama, they can totally beat Texas.
Yes.
Bama's been way more consistent than Texas has, and we might have a 7-seed UConn in the Elite Eight on our hands, and I actually think that's a team that could beat a Michigan. I think a lot of people have Michigan coming out of the top maybe in that region. UConn could totally get to the Final Four.
I think that Bama is obviously the strongest team in the SEC just because of their defense. Their defense is
lockdown.
crazy.
And then the only reason why I know fellow Arkansas fans will argue the heck out of this. But the only reason why we won, well, not the only, but I'd say the main reason why we won the game against Bama it was mid-February, right?
Yeah.
Was because they kept fouling.
Yeah.
Like the refs were some pretty tough refs, and they happened to be very much on the side of Arkansas that night because, Alabama, admittedly, they did do more defensive fouls than Arkansas. But their coach had a great point. 35 free throw shots against 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you have to start questioning, like, okay, what's going on? But also, they didn't do that well with three-point shooting. Arkansas had a great night from the field. We had other reasons to win, but that helped us tremendously in actually beating them. And that got us into the top 10, at least for that 1 or 2 weeks. Or 1 week.
Watching the game, I remember first half, I was really I was frustrated because they would keep on calling fouls, and it was just annoying. But you also got to realize Alabama, they don't drive. I mean, every now and then they shoot, I think, over 40% of their field goals are 3-pointers.
Oh yeah,
they attempt more 3-pointers than anybody in the nation, and they make them. They're the reason they're very good. But if they have a bad shooting night, like they did against Tennessee, they're susceptible to an upset.
Well, and it's a lot of teams like that, and let's talk about Iona really quick. It's teams that play like that. The threes, you have an off night against a 15, and that game becomes really interesting really fast. And the interesting thing with Iona, the reason people think that they've got a shot against Bama is nothing against Alabama. Most people agree Alabama's a really, really good team that could totally get out of that region. Iona has Rick Pitino coaching for them, and if you don't know who that is, he's coached at Minnesota. He coached at Kentucky before Calipari was there. And then lately he I remember him at Louisville, and Louisville has done, when I was a whole lot younger and he was there, they were doing great, but the reason they ran him out of town was because of some recruiting.
Yeah.
I think it was recruiting, but it might have been something else.
It was. I mean, I think kind of not paying players with money.
Something along
those lines.
It
was it's one of those the ye old recruiting tactics of, we're going to go to Ruth Chris tonight and really discuss your future, Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, thanks for the $200 a stay, coach. It's
and we're going to head somewhere else. But
we won't talk about that. Yeah.
But no, so they ran him out of town, and he's got to kind of start on the lower end. That's why he is at a team that's not in the Power 5 like Iona. But they won that conference championship, and they're there. They've got the coaching, just the same as we think. I think Boeheim could get Syracuse out of the Midwest region, and and y'all seem to think Michigan State could get out of that region at least a little bit with Izzo, and I totally agree with you there. Iona could totally shock some people this weekend.
Yeah, my thing with Iona is I personally just do not know that much about them.
Same, yeah.
And heck, if you
just Pitino.
Wait, who are they going against?
They're going against Bama.
Bama. Okay, that's what I thought, but I don't want to sound like a dummy. And with Bama is that I have a lot of I have a lot of faith in Bama. I think they're going to go a long way. I think they're Elite 8 bound, or they're Elite 8 bound, and I think that at the very least they'll get to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
I don't see Iona beating them. Bama, although their defense is very good. Their offensive shooting, they are also like Iona, that they shoot a lot of 3-pointers. I think, but also was it you or was it Jake that mentioned it? If one of them has an off night, that will be the make or break of it.
Yeah, and another thing to watch out for Alabama is I think that if you're Iona, the thing you want to do is you want to guard the 3, make them drive, and put Herb Jones into foul trouble. The SEC Player of the Year. He has made the biggest impact on the best team in the SEC, and he has gotten, I think there was a stretch of games where he fouled out 3 of the 4 games. One of them was Arkansas. John Petty, too. I mean, he doesn't foul a whole lot, but if those two don't have a good game, or if Herb Jones fouls out early, then Iona has a shot.
Yeah, I think that's a situation. If you watch because of how many games are going on at once, especially that first weekend, whenever you're watching a game, there's 4 different games going on different channels, and across the top of the screen, it'll have the scores of the different games going on. I think a lot of people.
I love March. I love just the mere concept that you're watching the other games while watching
the scores.
Scores. That's amazing.
I think the Iona Bama game, Bama gets off to a slow start, like you said. They're making them drive. If that's low scoring, maybe Iona's up at half, maybe it's tied at half. People are gonna be looking at that score, and they might change the channel to see what happens. Bama's really going to have to get off to a quick start. If that stays close, man, it's going to be interesting. Iona's totally got a shot there.
Do you think, I'm curious for both of you, do you think Friday or Saturday of the first round will be more upset bound. So do you think there will be more upsets in the first round in the South and Midwest or the West and the East? Because I personally think Saturday is going to be more entertaining. Oh, sorry.
So what?
The West
region
and the East.
For what? What time?
So East and West is Saturday?
East and West is Saturday. And then Midwest and South is Friday. So do you think Saturday or Friday will be a more entertaining day of basketball? Because I think Saturday we are going to have more upsets than we would in...
The East region is the most interesting region here.
Oh, yes.
Like we were just talking about Michigan State, UConn, Iona, but especially Michigan State and UConn. Each of them could make a deep run, and they're in a field with Bama and Michigan. Somebody's going to lose. Somebody good is going to lose this weekend, and I think Saturday is definitely what's going to go down.
Yeah. Wait, Jake, do we even... Okay, we've been talking so much about like these upsets. I'm not even sure if we got to like your Elite Eight and Final Four picks for the East.
I'll just... Oh, okay. If you want, I'll just go straight Final Four, everybody.
Hold on, Henry, what do you have in the East?
Let me check the bracket. I forgot to bring mine. Whoop-de-doo. I think I have Michigan and I think I'm similar with you. I think I have Michigan and Texas. I think Alabama it's gonna be a close game with Texas and Alabama, but I think Alabama, if they do have an off night, it won't be against Iona, but it will be against Texas.
Yeah,
that's the way I'm thinking about
it. I've got Michigan too getting into the Final Four, but like we were just saying, there's a bunch of teams there that could totally mess that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say two things. Okay, so my Final Four, I got Michigan versus Kansas. Kansas is one of those picks that, like I was talking about earlier, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Logically, Kansas hasn't been great this whole year. They might not even play because of COVID. They had one player during the Big 12 tournament.
Test positive,
Yeah,
right?
test positive. And I think a couple players had to quarantine. So they might not even play right now. But I think Bill Self's experience gets them far. And I also really like Michigan. I think they've been great throughout the year. And I think a phenomenon that's been happening is that people will get really hot. Michigan, after their COVID break, came back and they beat Illinois. I think they beat Wisconsin when they were high up there, Ohio State. And people were really high on Michigan, almost as high as they were on Gonzaga. And after who'd they lose to? I think they lost to Michigan State.
Yeah.
And people just stopped talking about them. Kind of the same way with Arkansas. We won 12 consecutive SEC games, 8 games in a row, and then people after we lost to LSU. I mean, not a great
they're
loss.
Flawed. It's like
it's like I don't think you can. I think we kind of have to watch and make sure that we're not judging a whole team's success in the tournament based off of one loss, or like a hot streak snapping.
Because a lot of those hot streaks, that is because that all of their players have actually been on the court. You know, you've had all 5 of those guys out there with a good solid bench, and with Arkansas. Crap, who was it?
JD Note, 6th man of the year.
JD Note, he stepped up a lot, especially during Missouri. What was it? He's 27 points.
He was on like Donkey Kong.
I think he shot like 2 threes in a row, like within 25 seconds, and I'm like, okay, we good. I don't have to worry about that anymore.
It's kind of, man, this is gonna really sound like I'm being biased. This is kind of what I'm talking about when you got Cade Cunningham. And you got LSU, Cam Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys, if they don't play well, Cam Thomas, let's get this straight, he carries. Javonte Smart is okay. Cam Thomas carries. If he has a bad night, they lose. LSU doesn't play good defense. If Cade Cunningham doesn't play good, I mean, there's a shot there. Who are we talking about again?
We were talking about LSU there for a second.
Wait, no.
It's basically how we get lost so easily.
I was just Arkansas.
Yeah, we were talking about Arkansas and how just losing one guy. Who was the guy?
Moses Moody, our star player, right? SEC Freshman of the Year, scores 5 points against Missouri, and Missouri is an underrated team in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they do have.
They're like Tennessee. They're off and on.
Yeah.
Gonzaga, man. They have to beat Gonzaga in round 32.
I mean, Xavier Penson, Jeremiah Tillman. I mean, first game against Arkansas, we cannot stop him. But, I mean, it's just a performance like that. It's like we don't have to have Moses Moody score 30 every night in order to win a ball game.
We'll have another guy pick it up.
JD Note can step up. Justin Smith can step up. Desi Sills sometimes. He hasn't been great of this year, but he can do some things for us. So
I was just looking at your thing. So we haven't talked about the West, and Henry and I both have Gonzaga, right?
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no, that's a really popular pick, but I guess we can cover the West real quick. I see you have Kansas. You think Bill Self, The coaching?
Yes.
That's why you like them over Gonzaga?
It's not a very logical pick.
But it could happen.
But it's kind of I kind of have this feeling that Kansas is one of those teams that makes a run. They haven't been great all year, and in a challenging Big 12 a field. I actually have Creighton knocking off Gonzaga, which is one of those that is completely illogical.
Nobody's got that. But hey, it could happen.
I mean, Creighton has not been great this whole season, but I don't think Gonzaga makes it to the Final Four, and I just like to go against the popular vote, because when a team has that much hype and that much superiority, quote unquote, than everybody else, I just think they're bound to fall, and I think Creighton might be the right team for it. And
Creighton lost bad in the Big East tournament, and kind of with the Hogs losing too. I don't think losing in your conference tournament, if it doesn't hurt your seeding, is a bad thing. It really humbles you going into the tournament, and I like humble teams.
Because I would rather us lose our hot streak in the tournament than in the March Madness.
Yes,
no,
exactly.
I agree.
There was a lot of people that were mentioning like a loss in the SEC tournament would only benefit the Hogs, because we have been a little bit too on fire, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
We need to come back down to earth.
Mm-hmm. And that was a good way to do it.
Yeah, and I just want to mention this to all those listening. The bells at our school are about to ring in a minute. So if you hear a lot of people moving around, or just stereotypical high school / junior high bell, that's why that is. So don't be startled. It's not the nuclear alert system or a tornado warning. We're all fine. But that's just there. So hot streaks. I forgot what we were talking about. Hot streaks. Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Who's going to win?
I mean, a team we haven't talked about, this might be changed subject, is Iowa.
Those guys know how to shoot. Yeah. That's for sure. Yeah. The corn taught them. Okay, they know how to shoot.
They have a consistent. They have a consistent scoring source. Luka Garza. I think he holds the scoring title of Iowa. This dude's like 6 or 7 foot, and he's huge. This guy's not a twig by any means. He is huge, and he's consistent for them. And they also have Jordan Bohannon, a decent guard. I don't know if they don't have good shooting, it's just hard for them to win. Their defense isn't amazing. It's pretty good, but I don't know. I do have them getting upset by Kansas.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's one of my picks.
So, okay, we're finally at the Final Four.
Okay. I think I mentioned. Out of the West, I obviously have Gonzaga. I think Iowa's going to be able to push it late with the Gonzaga, but Gonzaga, I think the Zags, they're just too good. Is that what they're the Zags, right?
Yeah.
What the heck is a Zag?
Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Bulldogs?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
but there's so many Bulldogs that the fact that they're named Gonzaga.
They're the Zag Bulldogs. Oh yeah, they literally in the thumbnail of this video it has the Gonzaga
the Bulldog
on there. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm such a fool. I even made that thumbnail too. So okay, Final Four. Jake, go.
Okay, Kansas versus Michigan. I think Kansas kind of, not the most popular pick. I really like Michigan. Then I have in the South and Midwest region, I have Baylor and West Virginia. I like Bob Huggins. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's consistent every year throughout the tournament, and I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on them. I like those picks.
So your national championship, you've got
Kansas and Baylor, and then I have Kansas winning 62-57. I always like to go low scoring on the national championships. I think you're right. I don't think I've ever seen a game above 80 or like 75. I usually never happen.
Like even in I'm not sure. Actually, when the Butler game back in 2011 or 2012, that was like that ends up being about the average score of like 55-60. Yeah. The Hogs,
the highest scoring national championship that I can think of is actually the '94
championship.
When the Hogs won against Duke, it was 96-92.
Really?
Yeah, Scotty Thurman.
Really? That's how much it was?
Thurman's 3 took him. Yeah.
I watched the highlights last night because I was bored.
You just get chills watching that game.
Yeah, you see the shots.
Talk about it.
There's a lot of the shots. That one for Hog fans is the shot.
Oh, in Arkansas, that shot just from the bottom right, and he's shooting it over Grant Hill.
That's a huge arc, and then he made it. That's like
that picture is framed all around the state of Arkansas.
Oh yeah, if you go into any diner in the state of Arkansas, specifically in the Northwest region, where like the college towns are, especially Fayetteville, that is where you will see a framed edition of what would it be like? Not Sports Illustrated. It'd be like ESPN or
was
something.
On the front of Sports Illustrated. That shot was.
You would see that magazine cover just pasted into an underground little bar.
Yeah, I mean to implement that point. my cousin used to have this bobblehead with, I think that's the old announcer of Arkansas. I don't know whose name.
I don't remember his name, but I know.
It's Chuck Barrett now. I don't know the other guy.
You'd click a button and it would like play the call.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so I mean,
I think that was a CBS one. It's like, oh, he got it.
Oh yeah, that was Jim Nantz on the call.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, let's get back to Final Four. So you have Kansas and Michigan, and for that, and wait,
okay. He's got Kansas and Baylor.
Yeah, no, that'd be for the Final Four, and then Kansas Baylor, and then you think who's gonna win?
Kansas.
You think Kansas is gonna go all the way?
I just.
We'll see.
We'll see if COVID knocks them out before even round one. Well,
yeah, that'll be sad.
That'll be sad.
There's gonna be some restructuring there. If,
I really hope
they
not.
get knocked out.
I would love to see that not happen.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to see any team get knocked out because of COVID. I mean,
that's just depressing.
Yeah.
Noah, what? Oh, okay. I guess I'll go. So I have Gonzaga and Michigan in the final, in the national semifinals. I have Gonzaga winning. It's not that, I'm sorry, Michigan fans, if you're listening. I'm not the biggest Michigan fan, just in general. I don't have anything against you per se, but I mean, it's you or Gonzaga. It's like you're already not, at least in my kind of skew of things, you're already not too terribly high in what I think is going to win. But I would like you guys to beat Gonzaga because you guys probably had the best chance to do it, other than Illinois. But no, I think Gonzaga. It's going to be a close one. But I think Gonzaga is going to be able to do it. And then Illinois is going to be out of the Midwest. Wait, did I say OSU? I think I mentioned OSU. I was going to come out of the Midwest. I think actually, when I think about it again, I don't have it on me. I think Illinois is going to come out of the Midwest. It'll be Illinois, Ohio State. Illinois will win, and then Illinois will go all the way to overtime to be beaten by Gonzaga.
Yeah, I've got that too. In defense of Michigan, yeah. So just to clarify, I've got Gonzaga, Michigan in that one Final Four game, and then I also got Ohio State, Illinois. Who knows what happens in the South? I mean, the East is interesting, but I still think Michigan's getting out of there. The South, I don't think it's going to be Baylor. I'm just saying.
I don't think it's going to be Baylor.
I don't know who it is, though.
I don't think it's going to be Ohio State, and I don't trust the Hogs. I'm sorry, Coach Musselman. I have a lot of respect for you, but I've been a Hog fan for too long, okay? I don't think we're going to get to the Final Four.
But if it happens, I mean, hey.
Yes, I mean, we'll be more than gracious if that happens.
I mean, a Sweet 16 would be...
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
Yeah. As a brand, that's with the Arkansas Razorbacks, because we're already the redheaded stepchild of the SEC. The SEC does not care about us.
Yeah, we're bad in football.
They would rather Florida do better than us, but unfortunately, we're the second best team this year, and Alabama's a football school. So the SEC really should be rooting for us, but they're not going to.
It's like, who are normally the SEC teams? It's Kentucky. Florida's normally good.
Yeah, Florida. I mean, it usually goes Kentucky, Florida. I mean, Auburn has been good past years.
The past few years.
Yeah. I mean, that one year they made it to the Final Four.
They
lost
fun.
to Virginia.
That was fun to watch.
I think they were up 2, and on a last-second play, like a skip pass to Kyle Guy in the corner, he shoots it. They contest it, and they call a foul on the 3.
Yeah,
sinks all 3 free throws to tie it, then take the lead, and then they lose with a couple seconds left.
I would like this year there to be. Duke is normally the Titan that never loses. Yeah. I would like I don't know what the matchup's going to be, but what I would like is, the Titan of this bracket this year, of the tournament this year, is Gonzaga.
Oh,
I would like out of the South or the Midwest to be a team similar to Butler. I think it was back in 2011 or 2012, where they were like, a 4 or 5 seed. Yeah. Nobody really had too many high hopes. There was like, a few of them said, Sweet 16, a very small amount said Elite 8, but they went almost all the way to barely lose by like 1 or 2 points. In the end of regulation, in the national championship. That's what March is about.
I think you're right. So with Gonzaga, a lot of people think they're getting all the way. A lot of people just didn't even think about it. They just put them in the Final Four.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to end up in the national championship. And I think that's boring.
It is.
It's boring, but it's probably what's going to happen. But I think what you just said is you really nailed it on the head there. If we could get an 11... Or if somebody
not even an 11, but like a 6, a 7,
a 7 or an 8,
something that kind of comes out of the blue, and you're like, really?
When's the Final Four?
You guys?
We need a national championship with a good storyline, and if Gonzaga, they can finally prove themselves. They've never won a national championship. They've always done well, but they've not quite gotten over that hump. And as a good storyline, Gonzaga there to prove themselves undefeated versus kind of a Cinderella that the country didn't see coming. That would be an interesting national championship. You might have a New York Giants versus the Patriots in 2007. kind of situation, the David and Goliath game. That would be a really good national championship.
If we get to the Final Four and Gonzaga is in the Final Four for the West, even if Gonzaga wins or loses at any point, it will be, like you said, the storyline. One way, it will be somebody in the Final Four of the national championship was able to defeat the Giant.
Yeah,
they went to the national championship or they won the entire thing. Mm-hmm. But if Gonzaga wins, the whole thing will be they are one of the greatest teams to ever step foot in college basketball.
Yeah, they wouldn't have lost.
They would have not lost a single game,
which is ridiculous.
Exactly. They would have not lost a single game, and they would win their first national championship.
Yeah,
that would be impressive.
It really would be.
I think they kind of have a lot of similarities to the, I can't remember what year it was, maybe 2013, 2014, Kentucky. I think
they went
like the Harrison.
Yeah, the Harrison twins.
I know they went 21-0. Yeah. I'm not sure if they went farther than that.
They were like
that's just what I remember.
They were like undefeated going into the tournament.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And I think they lost. Maybe that's like Wichita State. I think it was.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that.
And like maybe I think that was the Elite Eight, because I think the Final Four was like Wichita State versus Louisville, and that was actually the game where I think Kevin Ware. You remember
the leg?
Yeah, the leg.
Oh,
that's just hard.
Oh yeah.
But I think Kentucky kind of reminds me of that Gonzaga team. I mean, Gonzaga. Let's. I think everybody knows they are the best team in the field. I mean,
undisputed.
They have pro talent. I mean, like, if you ever watch them play, it's like a pro team. Not saying they beat a pro team, but like the way they play and the defense they play, it's very organized, controlled. It's it's good basketball. Mm-hmm. I think Jalen Suggs, he elevates them for sure. It's going to be really hard for a team to knock them off. I just think history is against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
closing thoughts from any of you? I just want to put this out there. We are just casual fans. If we get your team's thing wrong, if we accidentally said Kentucky lost against Wichita State, and Wichita State happened to win or lose, or anything like that, we apologize.
We're just kids.
We're just kids. We came in this just trying to have a fun time, trying to have an open conversation of our brackets.
It's a celebration of basketball.
It is a celebration
last year.
Of basketball.
It's all in Indianapolis. Like four
of
the
in the
venues
state
this
of the
weekend.
it's in this whole. The whole thing is in the state of Indiana, which is like the most basketball sport.
Four of the venues this weekend are places with less than 1,000 occupancy.
Oh, really?
The old Hoosiers, if you've seen the movie Hoosiers with Gene Hackman, they are playing in there. There's a middle school they're playing in, and all these basketball gyms have storied histories, and it's just so cool how they're making it work this year. And there's going to be a lot. It's a celebration of basketball, and after not having it for a year, it's exactly what we need.
Yeah,
agreed.
Jake, you have anything else you want to add on that, or?
Go Hogs.
Go Hogs.
Go Hogs,
yeah.
baby.
We'll see how far we go. Well, as the host, I guess I'll end it off. So, Noah, I want to thank you for coming on to the podcast today. Jake, I know it was kind of last minute, but it was a great idea. I'm not sure who proposed it.
I was still waking up this early, but
I mean, I went to bed at 2:00 last night, but hey, now I'm mining Bitcoin, or it's a long story, but now I'm making Bitcoin.
It's for another podcast.
It's for another podcast, maybe next week. But other than that, thank you guys for coming on, and I guess I'll sign it off. So, see ya.